All right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Express, and yes, we are discussing Batters, Lamu, and the issues around Lamu. Just before we went to break, we're discussing these 500,000 acres of land, all right? Even if we get them, we are not getting them to squatters, we're getting them to the LAPSET project. Is that the correct position?
Not really.
First of all, my dear brother here say that maybe the government needs to buy off this land from these 22 companies. First of all, we just passed the budget, 2014, 2015. We never factored anything like that. So I don't think the government has money. Exactly. That to happen in the next 3 months, that's a long shot. But two, look, the law also says that if land has been given to somebody, but there is some whiff of corruption, some anomalies in the way it was done, that land can't be revoked. So probably the easiest way would be that revocation through, of course, the right institutions. But again, I won't say much until all the evidence has been put on the table. But to ask the government to start paying billions when we have so many issues in this country. We have kids, reading and
also, why should they do that from alleged grabbers? Yeah, what happens to the question of justice if in fact they grab that land?
My point exactly. And I think we need to redirect resources to where we need to focus on basics, food security, on water and education, infrastructure. We can't go beg, the US to give us money for roads when we use this money to buy land.
Brother, it is to the trade of this current, the trade of the Kenyans and the government we have ever had. By the end of the day, all the entire land, the 500 acres, may emerge as legally acquired. 500,000 acres may emerge legally acquired. Then what next? So we should look every option, because my main agenda and my main motive is to make sure my people are settled. So we leave it to Giru.
But what have you been doing away from now this, the investigations and all the TJRC and other reports? What have you been doing as the MP there before knowing these issues have been there and your people disgruntled? What have you been doing in terms of raising, whether it's raising awareness, talking about the issue, bringing it out in Parliament? What have you done?
Yeah, we have been okay, Aria, these things started sometimes back, and I have been talking about it, whereby these rat grabbers tried several means to evacuate the squatters, or rather to remove the squatters. But the squatters is strongly defended by Constitution. So they were trying to use police, court, and everything, and it really failed. So I was also among the people who were saying this could be the land issue, the Mpeketon issue could be the land issue. They were looking at an option of scaring the squatters to run away and to take charge of the land. So we really used to try to talk to this, but we never had the system on how to say. Because like I'm saying today, this thing has been said. We went to State House. We spent 2 days there. And the president gave directives to go and do investigation and to evaluate and see whether the land were legally acquired. But I'm telling you, and by the end of the day, it may emerge the entire 500,000 acres were legally acquired. Then what next? Where are the squatters? Where are the indigenous? So that's why we are looking every option.
So the solution is government to buy for the people?
Not really. To speed up.
There is a very easy solution regarding the 22 companies to start off with. If they haven't been filing their annual returns in accordance with the Companies Act, they are not companies. If you check with KRA, if they're not listed with KRA, and they haven't been paying any of their taxes or deducting statutory deductions from employees' salaries, if they have employees, these companies can be shut. They are in violation of the Companies Act. And if that's the case, that is an immediate sanction using the existing law. And in fact, this shows that the law is being enforced. Because all we seem to have consistently is investigations when we're looking into.
Exactly.
And we never have any final solution.
The first option of this is to get back land to the government. But if it fails, I don't want us to go empty-handed. That is my worry. Because it is the chances of us going empty-handed, having spent 2 days in the State House, having two sides of the politics changing words. And I'm telling them, if CORD and Jubilee are not inagreeable, we are there as KNC. We can be intermediators. We can bring them together to serve Kenyans instead of exchanging words. Today, Duare is here telling Urengo this, telling me, Joko Medio this. We want people to be patriotic and work for every Kenyan, be it of political side, be it of your tribe, but make sure every Kenyan is comfortable and Kenyans has resources for everyone and enough and excess.
Certainly not enough for the greedy, because if you have 500,000 acres and probably that's not enough, you have probably more in another place, then clearly Kenya, like you say, it has enough resources for everybody. But for the greedy, we still have an issue. But
here's the point, though. If after we've done all these investigations and then it was willing buyer, willing seller, then what next?
First of all,
it's a point.
No. First of all, you're already seeing. I'm not preempting any investigation here. So, but we have to wait for the CID boss Mohoro to go through, his investigation and tell us.
Well, he can't find the directors also.
See, that is the red flag number one. How come we don't see the list of directors?
That is automatically.
Today we can easily find who the directors of Standard Media Group are. Because it's all there for everyone to see. Why would you have a company owning 100,000 acres in Lamu and the directors are not known? How is that? So let's find that first. And then there's the issue of these people probably just fronting for other people. So, and who will find that out? Investigation. So let's go through that. I could be a director in a company, but I'm only fronting you, GM. So we need to find out who are really the landowners. So once we find that, then again, was the process above board? Was it just? Was it done legally? If that's the case, then the government, look, and what we're saying is, it's the ministry officials, who are government officials, who did this job. So let them explain how that was done. And again, there's the issue of it could be legally okay, but is that morally okay? I don't know whether that's an issue that this panel should be discussing. How do you go to Kisumu County and take 80% of the land there? How can that happen? How do you go to Garissa County and take 90% of the land? And how? Is that okay? Is that how we should be administering land in the country? So those are serious issues that we have to look at.
Mm-hmm. Andrew?
Well, I've tried to come up with concrete solutions. I've introduced additional issues that are not really additional to the problem. It is the administrative chaos that the government finds itself in, which has us all wrapped up. It's uncertain. When you have administrative chaos, you have uncertainty. And the people on the ground, whether it's in the settlement community who thought they were living on land that they had been rightfully granted, or the indigenous community who were excluded from places like Mpeketoni, quite obviously, since they don't live in the same villages. If it's the lack of policing, if from the very top at CID and the like, we're not hearing about, we're looking into ID cards, we're looking into the banks, we're looking into we have KRA giving us the files. Now if someone says, well, it's privacy, well, the law allows for the investigations, for the banking fraud investigation unit to look into accounts that may be used for money laundering. We have a financial reporting center. We have all of the appurtenances. We appear to be a modern state, but we are not functioning as a modern state. We are a failing state. And I think this episode, this latest episode, this indication could be a great opportunity if, from State House down, the political will is expressed to clean up our stables, to clean up and start behaving like a modern nation state. Because right now we're not. And the so-called Wanjiku, or her equivalent at the coast, is watching all of this going on here. She doesn't have a television. She's watching all of this. We're talking about laws.
Because yes, the question is, how far willing to go?
Apparently not very willing, because we're not implementing our existing new laws regarding security, passed and enacted since the 2010 Constitution. So we still have a disorganized police service. We have the KDF not reforming. NIS, NSC are simply not reading their owner's manual, reading the laws. And these laws do hang together, and we're wasting people as well as time.
Yes, because also it appears that we're just building, what is it, castles in there, This, with this, nothing, I mean, this is what?
No, that's why I started from the beginning. I told this to me it's a step in the right direction. We've started to appreciate that this is an issue, and we need to start doing something about it. Yes, we've been talking about land as an emotive issue. We've been saying it was one of the key drivers which almost, trashed this country in 2007.
But if Lamu, if people are not killed in Peketoni, they would not have gone here. So it is not a step in that we have been pushed to this corner.
Not really. Remember, I started by saying the governor of Lamu asked the president when he distributed the titles last year.
That was in 2013.
So that was before.
That was in 2013, Kazungu.
Before the Peketoni attacks.
People were killed.
Exactly.
Just the other day.
Yes.
About now 3 months.
Yes.
Right.
And
the problem is that you're pushed to a
situation.
corner. Yes.
But actually, it went like that until
Yes.
the people were killed.
Yes.
That's when this thing emerged again.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying the principal should come back again and give us the time limit of this issue, of resolving this issue. Because if we don't give them the time limit, we may end up Ndego amalize kazi yake, aondoke, akufe, na shida haijasuluhishwa.
Because yes, what would happen is, right now, like you said, there are issues in Malindi,
Yes.
all right?
Yeah.
Until something sparks in Malindi, that's when it would come and say, what, there's an issue, but there's always been an issue.
Well,
that's what we're saying.
There has been an issue, and I've hosted the chairman of the National Land Commission, Malindi, and the next, what I was told is we'll go back to Nairobi. Be coming down here after a few months. We sit down.
What is a few months?
Clean.
You know
what? That's what I'm saying. That was that. So then the next thing is we look. And this issue about land, it's not just government land. Look, parastatal land. We have the issue of ADC. ADC is Agricultural Development Corporation. They have millions and millions of acres. Within Malindi, there are 1,000 acres. People have been, locals have been saying, since ADC is doing nothing with this land, let's go take it over. But even with that, you have people who have been given titles in those lands. And this is land belongs to a government parastatal. And some individuals can't be given titles, in those lands. And it's like you said, administrative chaos. So yes, hopefully now the government has been jerked into action, and I hope they will take this seriously and try to resolve this thing. Time frame, 90 days, I think that's cutting it really thin. But let's see whether that can happen.
I think the most important in this issue is a drafted performance contract. By this time, we are expecting this to be concluded. But if we leave it open like that, it will be kept busy. The National Assembly Land Committee taken to Lamu to probe, the CS, the National Land Commission, just rotating like the even chicken which we normally see in the hotel and not getting to anywhere. You see this side, in the evening you see this other one. And that is not what we want. We want a drafted performance contract. At what time is this thing is going to be resolved? At what time these people are expecting to be allocated land? Yeah.
But that's why we have asked now the new leadership, to be pushing this in the front banner. Now you have a very good opportunity, my brother, that these things have been brought up there, and you should be putting there. What is the government doing?
You should be the one
you
to
should
make
be
sure
doing
we
that.
don't forget.
I should be doing the same thing, Malindi. When is this going to be done? And when are you guys coming down here? But we know, like you said, immediately after National Commission visited Malindi and they gave us time will be coming down to resolve ABCD. What happens? They come back to Nairobi and they have their own internal issues, which my brother alluded to. The issue of a National Land Commission powers vis-a-vis the Minister of Lands. There's we're waiting interpretation in the Supreme Court, and all these issues that went through the closure of the registry. So we hopefully that can be resolved through your committee on how to streamline the two organizations, so they can, because the focus is let's deliver service to the Kenyans who elected. Let's give them the land that they've been yearning for. And we can't do that when we're all stuck in offices and bring all sorts of excuses and power play, and everybody wants to be seen to be powerful. That's not really why we're here. We're here because people are being called squatters, and it's inhuman to be called a squatter. So let's ensure that people who have land, they can settle there. And land isn't just about you squatting there. It's you getting land to have a dignified life, for you to engage in economic development, so hopefully you can help in transforming this country. So that's what we're looking for. Hopefully that should be the way forward.
And I want to put it to clear, the land is not being recovered for Lapset. It's being recovered for indigenous and squatters. The Lapset is a mega project. They have a lot of money. They can easily buy land. But we have a common mwananchi who cannot even afford even to process a letter of allotment, neither title. And I praise the president by saying, this time round, they are not issuing letter of allotment, neither letter of an offer. They are issuing title deeds. So a common one, and I would also request them to give a title deed which is already discharged, whereby that farmer or other mwananchi can easily go to the bank and borrow. You know, sometimes they give title which looks like a paper.
Yeah.
You go to the bank, you are told, this is charged by the government.
That's crucial, and yes, we need to be to focus on show we give land to our people. That's fine, but still, remember, as a country, we want to attract investment, international investment, foreign direct investment. If an investor comes to this country and wants to invest in a project, and you tell him, look, for you to pass through my land, which I've made some ways and I got it, you must pay me 1 billion. That's making our country, Kenya, expensive for investors. And we're not doing any justice by doing that. So still, Lapset becomes a key issue, and we should not make this country an expensive investment destination, because people have choices. If they can't invest here, they can as well go to another place and invest there. So we need to think about that as well. That, you know,
but not at the expense of a common mwananchi. Agreed. But still, the investment drives this country forward. And if you make it expensive for investors, what do? They go to other places as well. So yes, let's set our people, but let's not make Kenya too expensive a destination for investors as well.
Frankly, as you get to wind down this discussion, conversation, this appears to me that we speak about land, we are either hanging to hope or despair. You know, we've totally given up with this issue and story because, well, it's stuck up in too many levels. We cannot, there's no will, and we can't do anything. We're just hoping that, you know, something might happen.
So what has happened historically in other countries regarding land, when you have people pushed against the wall, you have revolutions. You just have a mass revolution, and that solves the land problem with landholders as well. Now that it's only slightly facetious. This happens in all over Latin America, Cuba, China. We're not able to insulate ourselves from normal what people do. Now we have people in Washington talking about how we have a digital registry for companies, and yet we know we don't. These are the things that, through the benefit of the internet, everyone sees. Travel advisories don't kill investment. Terrorists kill investors. Insecurity destroys investors. Lack of administration, bad governance, corruption. That's what destroys investors. Tourists will not come to a place where you have no border controls. This is fact of life. What we're seeing being played out on the media now is unfortunately becoming the Kenyan story of so-called politics, of we're swinging into action. And yet, the unsexy, the non-dynamic solutions we never go to. We have everything on our books, we have good laws, we have good people. And yet, there seems to be no gufu, no willingness to just cross the line and say, enough is enough. It's not about putting political godfathers in jail, looking at the huge tycoons behind these companies. Let's put lawyers in jail. Let's put government workers who sell ID cards in jail. Let's sack the head of the registrar of companies. These are civil servants who are obviously, visibly failing to do their jobs. Performance contracts or not, tenure or not. These are people who are administratively destroying the country. And whether they're incompetent, inept, or corrupt, they should go. Because we can't have a modern state. And we are not developing a modern nation state here in Kenya.
Can we solve the land problem? Yes, political will. But again, let's start unpacking this thing one at a time. Like you said, this is multi-layered, it's murky, but still, I don't think it's unsurmountable. We can if you go one at a time. We can. And if we're led by good people who want to do a good, decent job, we can do it. I don't think this issue is, it calls for revolution. I don't think we need that yet. But yes, if we can pack it
but you don't plan for revolutions. It just happens. Yes, when people get tired, thinking that this administration is corrupt, inept, and doesn't want to listen to them, so it happens.
To follow up on what you've said, to deal with this one at a time, when you see in one of the stories today in the dailies, NLC chair talking about probing land titles from the 1890s, he's already biting everything.
So my point exactly. You just get messed up in the whole mess. I mean, 1890, when the British first came into Kenya, really, then it gets really complicated. If he believes he has the mechanism to go through that, so be it. Maybe he does. But I can see your doubts there. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Let's go one at a time. And yes, I know the issues in Malindi, for example, and I know with the right support, with the funding, for example, we can do this thing. We can buy land from people and resettle them, and this thing can be done. But if we buy too much that we can't chew, it becomes a complex. We start talking at another level now. Instead of going, what's the issue in Machakos or Eastern Province? We deal with it. What's the issue in Rift Valley? We deal with it. Like that, systematically. Led by honest people who wants to do a good job, an honest job, driven by patriotism, and shows that we help our people, come out of this issue called, squatter, and because there's nothing worse than being called a squatter in my view. I mean, today you have your structure, tomorrow is flattened, and this is one thing that drove some of us into saying no. Let's try to see what we can do to help our people have land. But yes, it can be done, and I think we have very good people. Dr. Suzuru, for example, and our sister there, Mariam and Maui. These are people who go to school. They know the issues, and they're leading very good team that can do this job. So yes, with political will and taking this thing one at a time, structurally, it can be done.
Yeah. Me would also urge the government to do as quick as possible, because as we are sitting today, the real value of land has become no more, because we don't know which is the real title and which is not real. Like now, you can imagine the bank which lent about 1 billion to one of the maybe in quotes grabbers, and now they are being told the land is going to be revoked. Now, they are giving us a hard time. So the government must come strong and create a structure where a title can be structured, can be given a previous value. Because today, you not come to me with a title and tell me, just give me 10 million and remain with this title. It's becoming difficult to Kenya. It is also ruining our economy. Because now title is becoming valueless. Yeah. So the government must conclude this issue and create a structure whereby once a title is issued, there is no way of revocation. Because now it's becoming, actually, you can understand and you can see how it is going to ruin the economy.
It's true.
Today you go to the bank, you want a loan with a title, the bank will shy off.
In final thoughts, Kazungu, as we...
Yeah, he's bring a very important point, and the issue of double land allocation. And it's so rife in, if I can talk about Kilifi County, especially on the beach areas. Today, you see a title on a beach property thing 3-5 times, because you may build something there, tomorrow he comes and says it's mine. But who are the people doing these things? Lands officials, lands registries. I'm sorry to say that, but some of the land registries, the cost have been some of the dens of corruption, if you like. And I won't call them in any way. I mean, they in a way have been abating corruption. So we need to clean up But apart from the cleanup, we must also, at the National Land Commission or the Ministry of Lands, we must also ensure that we have this process of automation. This has to be done. I mean, it should not be just a talk that we're trying to. We must take seriously the issue for automation, computerizing our land registry, so that when you get a title, you know this is unique to me and it's mine, and it restores investor confidence. But the bigger issue is people are still landless. I will tell you this, in Malindi probably over 80% of people are landless. It affects even the way as a leader, I can't build a school or a dispensary on land because the people would want that facility, but I can't because I must do it on a land that is legal. There's nothing. Then what do you do? You can't give it. So it's affecting even basic development and issues that you should be giving to people. So I think it's about time that we take this seriously. People are hurting. Kenyans are looking out for service, and we should be doing just that.
Okay. Final thoughts, Franklin?
Well, I think that what's been expressed during this period of time has a lot of validity. I would say that the failure to genuinely swing into action and produce results very quickly using laws we have on our books today, where we have either dishonest people throughout the registries and the laws are not being invoked against them, or semi-honest people who are not being kept on the straight and narrow because no one gets punished in this country and as nobody is seen to be punished. We have increasing uncertainty and insecurity, and I would suggest that that issues relating to that we will not have a LAPSET. We will not have a genuinely big, game-changing project anytime soon because people do not invest. Foreigners and even locals with long-term ideas do not invest in war zones and zones of insecurity. And I think that it's not rocket science to hit the law books and to start enforcing the laws.
All right. Okay. Lamu West MP, Julius Ndegwa, Kazungu Dan, Malindi MP, and Franklin Andrew, who's a security expert. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making time and talking to us.
Thank you.
And we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll be talking about the International Youth Day that's happening next week. So do stay with us right here on KTN.